Should we play Nuhu in the second leg of our important Champions League game? Cannot foretell now. Even the Magic 8 Ball can't help me. Hello and welcome to part 172 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a massively important second leg in the first knockout round of the Champions League game at home against Nantes, and we're away against Tottenham in the Premier League. It's been a long time since you were last with me. I think the last games you saw were all the way up here. I promised you we'd have a long stretch of games to get back into the meat of the Champions League, and we've done exactly that. And the important thing is, what is this? Why have I got a piece of hair that's gelled pointing downwards? You're going to be fixated on this for the rest of the video now. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. I'm interested in this. There's another one. What's this one doing? You probably can't even see it. How do I touch it? Awesome. I don't know what I was saying now. We didn't lose any games for all that time, which was very pleasant. There's been some big results in there as well. We beat Chelsea 4-0. We managed to not lose against Man United. We have had a couple of iffy results. We struggled to beat Crystal Palace in the FA Cup, despite them being in the Championship. And also, we have struggled against Nantes. We were 3-1 down after 80 minutes and managed to get it back to 3-3. And I know what you're thinking. Who on earth are all these names that are in here? Who's Alexandra Piazza? Who's Thomas Day? Where is he? He was on there somewhere. I saw him somewhere. I can't see him now. He was on there. Who are these people? Well, of course, Kev did some transfers. I spent some money. Firstly, I did what you all knew I'd do, and I signed a striker. He is a Brazilian wonder kid striker, 18 years old, one cap for Brazil already, aged 18, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. He came in for £16.5 million, and I tell you what, he's a player. 4 starts, 5 appearances, but 4 starts, 3 goals, 3 assists, and a man of the match. He's got 2 goals from his 1 Champions League appearance, because that was against Nantes in the first leg as well. He's averaging a 7.92 since he arrived. Piazza is a player, and because Kerr's out for the rest of the season... Was Kerr out for the rest of the season last... Kerr's injury might not have happened. Kieran Kerr broke his leg. He's out for the rest of the season, so I just slotted Piazza into his squad spot. And we've also lost Esteban on injury for the rest of the season as well, which does make it a little bit easier to select Nuhu, because I now only have 2 attacking midfielders because Maestra's still injured as well. But I did sign 2 more players. One came from Crystal Palace, an absolute bargain, and he's a goalkeeper, Nick Harries, or Harris? I want to say Harries. 26-year-old Welsh international goalkeeper, 66 caps for Wales already, 3.5-star current ability, not quite as good as Vujicic. However, we have been giving him some game time, and he's been very impressive. 8 appearances for us, looks pretty decent. Got him on his relegation release clause from Palace. We've got 3 very good goalkeepers now, so Eddie Marshall-Wart has gone out on loan. We don't need him anymore because we've got Harries, Vujicic and Oliveira all in our Premier League and Champions League squads. The important thing about all these players is they hadn't played in the Champions League yet this season, so we were able to play them. And then the last one is the one that we all knew I should have done. Someone even said exactly this in the comments yesterday, and I'd already gone and done it. I went out and signed England's best centre-back, Thomas Day. Yes, he's 31, but my theory is Ferguson and Diothin are both 34, and they're both around the squad, or Ferguson was. We've let him go on a free transfer to give Day his squad spot. But they were both much older than this. This save isn't going to go on for more than another 2 seasons. So at most, we're going to have Thomas Day until he's 33. He's still a regular England international. He's the best centre-back in the Premier League, or one of. Certainly the best English one. He fits into our squad. Does it matter that he's 31? I don't think it really does. He's not going to turn 32 until halfway through next season. I think he's a signing and a half. 82 caps for England, 4-star current ability, and is as good as Ripert, which is handy because Ripert's also got a long-term injury. He's been out for absolutely ages. I mean, it only says 3 weeks. It feels like it's been much longer. Oh, because he'd only just come back from his torn knee ligaments, and then he got a tight calf and a groin strain. We might have broken Ripert, everybody, but as a result of that, we did let Ferguson go as well. I could have probably tried to force for a fee, but this all happened on deadline day. I finally managed to agree terms with Day. That was a battle that went on a little while, and John Ferguson was earning £120,000 a week with us. I just wanted to get him gone, so offering him out for a free, that works for me. So we're kind of spent up after all that. All the money that the board invested is now gone. We're back in the red where we haven't been for many years, and we're going to fail Premier League financial fair play, but it doesn't matter because we're going to win the Premier League. We're actually doing really rather well in the league with 9 games left to go. We're 7 points clear of both Man City and Arsenal. Man City have obviously had a massive resurgence, and Arsenal have fallen away just a little bit. We are, 19 points clear of 5th place Tottenham, so we're guaranteed Champions League football again next year unless something spectacular happens. We should win the league unless something ridiculous happens, which allows us to focus a little bit more on the Champions League, but that could all go wrong today if we don't actually play like a proper team, because we really struggled in that first leg. Nantes are only 6th in Ligue 1. They shouldn't be a challenge for us. We're the best team in England, and we really found it quite difficult. So we need a performance in this second leg, and this is the team we're going to put out there to get us that performance. We are going with Harry's in goal because he's been on a run of games, and I quite like him. I might live to regret it. Vujicic is on the bench if we need him, but we've been playing Harry's for the last probably 7 or 8 games now, and I really quite like him as a keeper. Plus Vujicic still wants to leave, so Harry's wants to be here. Vujicic wants to leave. They're basically equal quality. It makes sense to play the one who wants to be here. Our defence, they're both injured. We've actually got 2 players with fractured cheekbones in our starting 11 today. Thomas Day has a fractured cheekbone, and Carlos Centurion, I think, is the other one. Yeah, 2 fractured cheekbones. They're both wearing protective gear. So we've got 2 men in masks out there today. Brodic has also picked up an injury as well. He's got a tight hamstring, but he's only out for another day. I felt it was better to play those 2, even though they're both injured, than risk playing Diothin. Ripert's still not recovered from his injury either. It would have been nice to still have John Ferguson around the club, but he wouldn't have been in our Premier League squad, so he'd have probably been grumpy. But our back 4 is Joksimovic, Brodic, Day and Cutler, with Wanda, Centurion and Caminero in midfield, and then Nuhu in behind Alonso and Piazza. Charlie Jones is really struggling for form this year after being so incredible last season. Just an absolute superb player. His recent form, I mean, he has been affected by injuries quite a lot, but he's just struggling to get any kind of run of games. He had a little block of games there and only scored 3 goals. Piazza's obviously in better form than that. Alonso, I think, is a better support player than either Piazza or Jones. We've got the same problem with Piazza and Jones as we had with Jones and Kerr, in that Piazza and Jones are both very similar. They're both goal scorers. At the moment, Piazza's the one scoring goals. Stoyanov was away at the Asian Cup for all of February as well, so missed all these shenanigans and has struggled to get back in the team since he has returned to us. My word, that was a long intro. We might just do the one game today because I've talked for so very long. This is the disadvantage of the disadvantage of having so long between episodes. I have so much to update you on. Right, let's do a free-flowing attacking game and let's win. Goodness me, we need to win. I am worried about having all these injured players on the pitch. I wouldn't normally do that, but we are struggling a little bit. We have a bit of an injury crisis going on, and we're already 1-0 down. This Champions League is proving to be quite difficult to win, isn't it? We struggled in the Europa League when we were in the Europa League, and now we're struggling in the Champions League. We did all right in our group in the end. I mean, it was a little bit of a slow start to the group, but we did end up top in our group. But for whatever reason, we're finding the 6th best team in France really difficult to play against. Nuhu to Piazza, Cutler can't get the cross in. That cross comes in every single time in the Premier League. I think we've just got a little bit of stage fright because we've never been in the Champions League before. I wonder if the team are more focused on winning the Premier League because it maybe feels like a more realistic thing for us to do. We're a little bit nervous. It's uncharted territory. A lot of these players have never played in the Champions League before, never mind the knockout rounds. And Nuhu's brought down on the edge of the area, but we don't get a free kick for it. I mean, what is the world coming to? Centurion, fancy mask and all, finds Nuhu, plays it through to Piazza, and that is a goal and a half. Nuhu with a beautiful pass. Piazza tucks it away. That's why he's in the team, because he is scoring goals for fun. I say again, 18-year-old Brazilian wonder kid who's already played for the Brazil full national team and has arrived midway through the season, aged still just 18, and is doing this in the Champions League. He is an absolute superstar. He's going to end up being one of the best players in the world, and we've got him young, and I'm very excited. But Nuhu, we had quite a long discussion about Nuhu on my stream last night. Almost scored a screamer, and I was kind of justifying not playing him because my thoughts were he's literally just a goal scorer, and then he does a beautiful assist in the Champions League and proves me wrong. But if you want to hear all my thoughts on Nuhu, we were chatting about this save for probably about half an hour of last night's stream. So if you head over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/lollujo.fm, you can see the replay over there. I think we started talking about this save about 10 or 15 minutes in. So if you sort of jump forward 10 or 15 minutes into the stream, and then we had quite a long chat about this whilst playing some Football Manager in the background. It was a lot of fun. But I went into quite a lot of detail on my thoughts about why I've not been playing Nuhu regularly, why I prefer Esteban as an option. I mean, this was before Esteban got injured for the rest of the season. And I'd kind of decided that I wanted Nuhu to be my Champions League man. He's my big game player, my goal scorer. Oh, Day hits the post. But Esteban is more useful on a day-to-day basis in the Premier League because he offers more to the team at large. But Nuhu, I was always saving him to be a big game player in the Champions League because that's what he's done in the past. And he's got us a little assist there in the first half. And of course, because we got 3 away goals in the first leg, we are ahead in the tie at the moment. But we really don't want to be winning this tie on away goals. We need to come out in this second half and actually play some good football. It might be, it's not going to be long in this half before we introduce Charlie Jones to the game. Probably at the expense of Alonso because we can't take Piazza off. And I don't know how long the walking wounded are going to survive for. I mean, Day and Centurion, unless their masks are super heavy, I don't know why their conditioning is so low, because it shouldn't be any harder to run around with a mask on than it is without a mask on, surely. But they're both struggling a little bit. Brodic, I'm less worried about. Brodic actually scored 2 goals in our last league game as well. I think it was the last one we played. So Brodic has turned into a goal scorer, which is always lots of fun. But yet once again, Brodic proving that the man will never give up his place in the side. There's been 4 or 5 times now in the last 3 seasons where I've signed up. What is Harry's doing there? That was some of the worst positioning I've ever seen from the goalkeeper. Vujicic is just giggling into his gloves on the bench. I don't understand what he's thinking. I'm tempted to just bring Vujicic on. What's he doing standing over here? What an idiot. Well, that could be the goal that knocks us out of the Champions League. Let's get Charlie Jones on. And I'm not sure which way around to play these two. Doesn't seem to make much difference. I'm going to play Jones as the advance forward because he's Charlie Jones. Nuhu not playing well. I'm keeping my eye on Enoch. Fernandes is sat there on the bench and will be coming on in a minute if Nuhu once again doesn't perform. Oh, I thought if that had gone in there, I'd have been devastated. I guess the one good thing, if we do get knocked out of the Champions League here, is we can focus on winning the Premier League, and then next year we'll be all about winning the Champions League, and we don't need to worry about the Premier League then because we've already won it, and we can just play the reserves every week and give the Champions League everything we've got. But I don't know if we're good enough for the Champions League. It's obviously a different style of football that we're struggling to cope with, to learn how to play. It's weird. Centurion to Caminero, Wanda to Piazza. That is a back heel of real beauty. Plays Jones in and we've got an equaliser. Forget any of this. We're going to win it next year. We'll win the Champions League this year. I don't actually know what I'll do if I win the Champions League this year because I literally have no plan for what to do after this for like 3 weeks. We'll probably just have 3 weeks without making Football Manager videos and wait for FM19. So it's probably lads, if you're listening, it's probably in our interests not to win this game. We'll win the Champions League next year, if that's all right. Need content. Got to feed my kids. Right, Nuhu's not playing well. Fernandes is on for him. I want you all to make note of that. Write that down. Played Nuhu in his position. Nothing. 6.6. Yeah, he did a nice assist, but Fernandes can do nice assists. Nuhu's supposed to be there to score goals, and he didn't ever look likely. He's. I still get comments every day that Nuhu's our best player at the club by miles, and words to that effect. I know star ratings aren't everything, but if you sort this team by star rating, Nuhu is officially the worst player in the Premier League squad. So he's certainly not the best player at the club by far. He was our best player back when we only had one good player. We now have 15, 17 good players. Nuhu's one of them still. I certainly don't think he's the worst player in the squad, but I also it's pretty clear he's not the best player in the squad either. Jones is the best player in the squad by a long way. He's in poor form at the moment, but Charlie Jones was top scorer in Europe last year. He's young, he's English. If I could only keep one player and had to take one player to go and rebuild somewhere else, it would be Charlie Jones. Right, we need to take off Centurion because he's broken. That mask, running around with that mask on, it's been really weighing him down for the whole game. Hayes can come on in midfield. Jones has come on and made a difference today. I think this might be my new partnership, Jones and Piazza. None of this they can't play together nonsense. They've proved today they can play together. And Piazza's just brilliant. That was awesome control from him. And there's Fernandez. Plays it out to Joksimovic. We've got a chance for number 4 here. If Joksimovic does one of his specials, he does. It's Fernandez and it's just over. Nuhu probably would have scored there. I saw it too. I know that's what would have happened in that situation. And now it's 3-3. It's 6-6 on aggregate. Does this count as our first 6-6 of the save? Even though it's over 2 legs. And now the tie is level. This extra time is looming now. And surely we have to worry a little bit at this point, because I don't know if our makeshift broken defence has got another half hour in him. Can we bring on a 4th sub in the Champions League? Is that rule at this level? Because I really want to get Dayoffin on for either of them. They're both broken. Right. Can I bring him on? Nope. Oh no. Right. Well, let's hope they manage to limp through extra. I wasn't anticipating extra time when I made that 3rd substitution. Yikes. Jones, can he lead from the front and grab his hat-trick? Tries to find Piazza, doesn't quite get there. And I'm going to assume Brodic's just dominantly headed clear there. Day with the free kick to Hayes. If Ashley Hayes had scored a header in the Champions League, I'd give up. I really don't understand at that point. That man never scores any kind of goal, and I've never seen him head the ball before. That was a pretty long cross from Jones that Piazza wasn't really awake to. And at this point, I now wish I had Nuhu on the pitch again, because this is the time Nuhu shines. But he was just having such a poor game. How do I justify keeping him on when he's playing so poorly? What a save from Harris. Almost redeemed himself for his terrible positioning earlier on. Mugging wise, we are mugging them at the moment with draw, because they've had 4 clear cut chances to our 2, but every other stat we've utterly dominated. So I would say it's a fairly even game on that basis, and a draw is fairly fair. And really, all it means is that whichever team wins this tie doesn't have a chance of winning the tournament, because there's going to be much better teams than Nuneaton and Nantes later on. So no, if we can't beat each other, we've got no hope of beating anybody better. So we may as well get knocked out here. I keep flip-flopping between I'd love to just go and win it now, because you always want to win it, to let's do it next year. Oh, Harry's again. He's never going to play for us again, is he? He's been so good up until today. You lot are looking, and he looks like the reincarnation of Kevin Thompson. This is hideous. Oh, he has been so. I promise you, he's been good. You've seen the run of form we've been on. Harry's has been a part of that, and yeah, we're out of the Champions League, folks. Hopefully we can beat Tottenham in the next. We are going to show. I can't just show one game and it be a defeat in the Champions League. I can't live with those comments coming in all weekend. I need something a little bit positive. We need to go and beat Tottenham and go on and win the league, because I can't take it. Quite a few changes off the back of that result, because how could there not be really? Vujicic comes back into the goal because Harry's is just, I mean, he's got a lot of making up to do. Dayoffin comes in for Day. Day's dropped back down to not even on the bench because he just needs to recover from his injury now. Dayoffin can come in and partner a now fit again Brodic. We're dropping Nuhu back to the centre of midfield because he was rubbish further forward, but I still want him to be able to stick a free kick in the top corner, so we'll play him a little bit deeper. Fernandez comes in behind the front 2, and I'm trying to be clever with the front 2. We're going with Jones and Piazza, who did look good together in that last game, but they're both natural complete forwards. So let's try and be really fancy and use 2 complete forwards. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, they could not play as well as they did in the last game, obviously, but fingers crossed that's not what happens. And look how defensive Tottenham are going. They're afraid of us, which, I mean, we're not very good when teams play a flat back 6 like that. We can sometimes struggle to break that down. Part of me thinks move Nuhu further forward now and do a 4-2-2-2, Because if they're only playing, they're basically playing no midfield. So why not stick Nuhu a bit further forward? We'll see how the game starts off, and if it looks like we're struggling to create stuff, we'll do exactly that. A 4-2-2-2. I've never done it before, but and now Brodic is injured again. A potential hand injury. Well, that should have absolutely zero impact on the way he performs as a centre-back. So if he has to come off injured with a hand injury, then I'm going to sack him. I don't care how good he's been, how much of a good servant he's been to us over the last 5 years. If a hand injury makes him come off, he's fired. Did that just say he picked up another injury? Is Brodic now carrying 2 injuries, or was that somebody else? I'm sure that said Brodic and hamstring or something, which would be that would justify him coming off. No, it still just says hand injury. But would it be able to show 2 injuries on there? It would probably show a more serious one. Fernandez has made a lot of mistakes today. I can't win. I need Esteban back. Maestra is going to be fit again in a couple of games. We've only seen him play 5 times. He might be the answer. How have we got to the point where we can't... We've got so many top quality attacking midfielders and we can't get a performance out of any of them. I might just go 4-3-3. We've got some great strikers now. When Kieran Kerr's fit, particularly, which admittedly won't be this season. But next season... We've got these 2 on the pitch now. We've still got Alonso. We've got Kerr. We've got Stoyanov. We've got Jokic. We've got 5 Premier League quality strikers and Jokic. We're probably going to sell Stoyanov in the summer because he's the oldest of all of them. So I may as well move him on. Unless Kieran Kerr comes back and he's never the same like Dennis Jensen. So we'll monitor that in pre-season. But hopefully that won't have too much of an impact. Fernandez. Beautiful pass out to Cutler. Piazza's there and it's straight at the Tottenham keeper. A draw today is not a disaster. After what just happened to us in the Champions League, a draw at least stops the rot a little bit and it maintains a 5-point gap at the top of the league. Obviously a win would be sensational, but a draw would be fine. Fernandez finds Jones. Jones has got options, finds Caminero. Fernandez slots in Piazza, who scores again. Our Brazilian wonder kid is a superstar and he's just absolutely scoring for fun. I know I didn't need to sign a striker, although at the time they were all injured, so we kind of did. That's why we brought an 18-year-old who's just come straight into the team and started playing. Jokic is looking at that thinking, I'm 2 years older than this lad. I really don't stand a hope now, because there's a younger one who's better than me and he's scoring goals regularly. But that's why he was playing, because we needed him to come in and play straight away because we didn't have any other options. And then gradually they all started getting fit again, or returning from the Asian Cup, or continuing to be injured in the case of Kieran Kerr. And that's hit the post. And I mean, that's Vujicic there. That's not much better than what we got from the Harrys in the last game. Perhaps Oliveira. Perhaps it's time to give him a go. I'm talking about the players feeling the pressure. I think I need to use this a bit more. Should we play Vujicic in the next game? Consult me later. I mean, is this thing going to give us... I can't even get a decisive answer out of a magic 8 ball. I don't know what my best team is. I've got to that point where we've got too many... I don't even want to say too many good players, but I think that's exactly what they are. Context, Kev, we're still 5 points top of the Premier League. But we've got too many players of roughly similar ability in the same positions, and I don't know who the best one is. I don't know who our best goalkeeper is. I don't know who our best strikers are. I don't know who our best attacking midfielder is. I don't even know who our best centre-backs are now we've got Day, because do I drop Brodic? Brodic has been my hero for so long. I've signed too many players. I've overcomplicated this for myself. Nuhu's not playing well again. To be fair, he is playing in central midfield, so what do you expect? But we'll bring Ashley Hayes on, who's an actual proper midfielder, plus a former Tottenham youth player, and you always get that thing where they go and score against the team they came through. We need Hayes to come in with a goal now, because a defeat here, and I do start to worry a little bit, because we've been unbeaten for so long in the league. We've only lost to Arsenal this season. We've lost to them twice, but we haven't lost another Premier League game. We've been Invincibles minus Arsenal this season, and off the back of the disappointment of the Champions League, if we go and lose to Spurs in the league and then get knocked out of the FA Cup against Liverpool in our next game, that feels like a season crumbling in like a 7-day period, and that's going to cause problems for our morale. And oh no, if we bottle this, surely we can't bottle it from here. Oh, I don't want to see your stupid replay. We got a game-changing player to come on and try and grab us goals. We've got Stoyanov. We're going to bring him on for Fernandez, and we're going to go to 3 up top. Should we just... He's a trequartista, isn't he? Let's make him a trequartista, and Alonso can just go on attack as well. And 2 complete forwards and a trequartista. That's got to be an effective system, surely. Apparently not. Well, this whole episode hasn't really gone to plan. Magic 8 Ball, did this episode go to plan? Indications say yes. I don't know that I should trust this thing. Oh my word. 8 games left. We are still 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Let's not panic yet. We can panic on Monday. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.